I see I only had a few takers, all right, on my middle section here. So you always know, it's like, uh-oh, what did I do? All right? You never know. You just never know what's going to happen here. All right, let's jump into Joshua 2. All right. So wait, did you say you were going to give me that map or not? Either way. I couldn't remember if you said we're going to use it or we're not going to use it. Some people need maps. Sorry, once I said that. In Joshua 2, all right, where we're camping out here, we're kind of right there on the Jordan River, all right? Joshua's got all his people. You see Reuben and you see Gad, all right, on the right side. Just right like on the border across the Jordan, and the Jordan is, Sea of Galilee up at the top, Dead Sea at the bottom, Jordan runs in between them, all right? Right across from there is the city of Jericho, okay? So that's kind of where we're going to be sort of on the verge of Jerichoing for the next couple of weeks, okay? So we're on this side of it. We're getting ready to go in. Joshua has been told, be strong and courageous. You're going in. You're leading them. It's your baby now, okay? And so he understands this is his responsibility, and so he's getting everybody ready. And if you look in Joshua 2, verse 1, you see him make his first move, all right? Now, I want you to ask yourself, is that really the best move, all right, this first thing? Because what does he do? Joshua, son of Nun, secretly sent 2 men as spies from the acacia grove. Anybody see any red flags? Any red flags with this line? Joshua secretly sent 2 men as what? Spies. Spies, Israel. How's that worked out for them? What happened last time we sent spies to investigate the land? How did this go? Did this go well? Yeah, it didn't go well, okay? They came back with what? Them people are big. All right? And the grapes are massive, all right? Like I said, it's like walking around through Albertsons going, hey, buddy, can you help me carry these grapes up to the counter, all right? Well, I'll get one side of the pole, you get the other side. And so was this a wise move on Joshua's part? Now, Joshua was okay because he was one of the spies, one of the 2 spies who came back with a good report, he and Caleb. So is that why he sent 2 and not 12? Yeah, is that what you were going to say, Jamie? Yeah, I'm picking 2. And I hope these guys were courageous. I think they were very, very hand-selected. First round, Moses just went, hey, y'all send me your best guy. And 1 from each tribe, send me your best guy. That did not turn out well, all right? Leadership lessons. Maybe you want to learn from this one. So Joshua, son of Nun, secretly sent 2 men as spies from the acacia grove, all right? Acacia, we get sort of this forest of all the wood that's supposed to be used for the tabernacle, all that stuff is always made of what? Make it of acacia wood, all right? So this is that thing that God knew, I'm going to put them here so that they can prepare for this. This is where they're coming from. Saying, go and scout the land, especially Jericho. Why? Because Jericho's first up. Now, if you're attacking the promised land, probably the last place you want to go first is the most difficult place, all right? And Jericho was probably the most difficult place, all right? We believe that they had not only one wall, the original wall, but they also had a second wall built around it, all right? So a double fortification. So the first day on the job is kind of like first game of the season. You don't want to play University of Georgia in your first game, all right? Right? Amen? Anybody? Okay. All right. Just a few. All right. You don't want to play Florida State either, right? That's a toss-up. Okay. No, you don't want to play Georgia on your first game. You may not survive. You may have to cancel the rest of your season. You will be beaten so badly. All right? Right, frogs? Oh, sorry, Rex. That was just, it was right there. It's right there. Well, Jeannie's not here, so I can't pick on Jeannie with it. So, all right? All right. So, but they're going to take on Jericho, but they send these scouts in so that we know what we're looking at, what we're going to prepare for. Now, what kind of message do you think the scouts come back with? Hey, they've got double walls. They can have chariots that go on top of the walls. Nobody gets in, nobody gets out after dark. It seems completely unpenetrable. Let's go. Is that how it went? Actually, it does. But not because they looked at their means and their abilities like they did the first time around. Joshua, I think, coached these guys up and said, don't look at this the wrong way, because it went really bad last time. You could ask Grandpa, but he's dead. All right? So he sends them in, especially Jericho. So they left and came to the house of a woman, a prostitute named Rahab, and stayed there. Now, some people are going to argue with you, well, the Old Testament word, the Hebrew word for this, is not necessarily prostitute. It can mean someone who runs a boarding house, somebody who does this. Okay, that's fine. That's a legitimate thing with the vocabulary, with the language, all that stuff, okay? The problem is Rahab is talked about in the New Testament. And in Hebrews 11, props to Rahab, she's in the hall of faith, all right? She is described as a prostitute. The Greek word makes no bones about it. She was a prostitute. So when you have the Greek word very clear and the Hebrew word kind of iffy, you go with the clear, all right? So she was a prostitute, because where else would you stay? If you're a spy coming into the land, are you going to go stay at the most prominent people's house? Are you going to be very overt and, everybody can see you, very conspicuous? Who's keeping track of who goes to the prostitute's house? Hopefully no one, at least that way everybody can kind of get away with it, shall we say? All right? So they go there and they stay there. Now the king of Jericho was told, verse 2, look, some of the Israelite men have come here tonight to investigate the land, to scout out the land. Then the king of Jericho sent word to Rahab. Must be a small town, all right? Because it got around pretty quick, all right? Maybe they did a poll and no one else had seen these guys, and they went, if no one else has seen them, they're bound to be at Rahab's, okay? And said, bring out the men who came to you and entered your house, for they came to investigate the entire land. But the woman had taken the two men and hidden them. So she said, yes, the men did come to me, but I didn't know where they were from. At nightfall, when the gate was about to close, the men went out. I don't know where they're going. Chase after them quickly, and you can catch up with them. Big, fat, stinking what? Lie, okay? Which you can get into a whole argument. Is it okay to lie? All right? I ain't going there today, all right? But here's my question as I was reading this. Who does she fear? Now, hold on to that. She's telling a lie. We tell lies based on fears. Right, Luke? Yeah, I did it, but I ain't saying nothing because I'm scared. All right? I'm going to tell a lie because I'm scared of something. Okay? Now, why, being a good Jerichoan, all right, or whatever you call those people, okay, why doesn't Rahab, when the king entreats her and says, bring these men out, give up these men. You are a loyal citizen of Jericho. We have protected you. We have provided for you. We've done all this stuff for you. You should be loyal to us. And she's not. Which begs the question, who does she fear? If she doesn't fear her king, who does this prostitute from this pagan Amorite city actually fear? And then the second question is, why would she fear something other than the king, her king? All right? And that's what we're going to sort of bring ourselves to here in just a second, okay? Verse 6, but she had taken them up to the roof and hidden them among the stalks of flax that she had arranged on the roof. So not only has she just said, hey, go up on the roof, go hang out there, I'll lie, we'll get you out of here. Not only has she done that, she instructed them to go up there, but what has she done with the flax? She hasn't just randomly thrown them up there, right? So what does this tell you about this fear? It's not just sort of a random thought. It's something that dictated her what? Her actions. She feared to such a degree that she made provisions to accompany her fear. All right? Paul says it like this. we should have a faith that energizes our love for other people. Well, Rahab had a faith that energized actions, her love. All right? So that's what we see in this text. So this fear is not just sort of random thing of, go hide on there and I'll let you go later on. It wasn't just based on petty rebellion or petty anything. This was based on legitimate fear. All right? And I want you to see this. 7, the men pursued them along the road to the fords of the Jordan, and as soon as they left to pursue them, the gate was shut. All right? So typical movie, the guys ride off to chase the bad guys, and the bad guys are really up on the roof the whole time, and it's just a big lie. Okay? So you can see this, the gate shutting, all that stuff. All right. Now, here's where it gets interesting. 8. Before the men fell asleep, all right? Before the men fell asleep, she went up on the roof and said to them, and I love this because you have to remember who's talking here. This is a prostitute who lives in Jericho, pagan Amorite city. Remember what God said? I will bring you back to this place in the 4th generation, and you're going to destroy all those who live here. Why? Because what was the condition in that promise, in that last, you'll come back here in the 4th generation? Because the sin of the Amorites has not come to full measure. Well, now they are entering the land. By definition, what's happened? The sin of the Amorites has reached its full measure. And this is the prostitute who lives in the land whose sin has reached its full measure. Are you getting who this person is? And again, that's what I want you to think about. This is not the priest in Jericho. This is not the one holding out, all right? This is the prostitute in the pagan Amorite city. She's the last one you would expect to have any of this knowledge. It says this, I know that the Lord, look in your text, does everybody have all capital letters for Lord right there? I know that the Lord, all right? If you did not know this, now I can teach you this real simple. Anytime you see all caps, that is literally the word Jehovah or Yahweh, all right? It's spelled one way, pronounced 2 ways, okay? Jehovah, Yahweh, same word, okay? I know that Yahweh, Jehovah, not just God, not just Elohim, some God, all right? No, your God, Yahweh, Jehovah. I know that Jehovah, God, has given you this land. Now, what happened when God told him, I'm giving you this land? Go get it. What did the Israelites, the people of God, the people who struggled with God and therefore got the name Israelites, what did they believe when they were told, I'm giving you this land? Go. What did they do? What did the children of God do? Oh, those people are big. We can't do it. No. But the prostitute in the pagan Amorite city of Jericho believes what? I know that Yahweh is giving you this land. And I can just picture God up there going, seriously? She gets it? And you 600,000 men didn't? None of you got it? But she does. You know why? Because she fears something. I know that the Lord has given you this land and that the terror of you, y'all, all right, in the Texas version, all right, has fallen on us. So Rahab is speaking for the entirety of Jericho. The fear, the terror has fallen on us, and everyone who lives in the land is panicking because of you. So all of the people, you see all the Issachar, the Zebulun, the Manasseh, Dan, Ephraim, Benjamin, Judah, all those people are panicking because they believe that God, Yahweh, the God of the Israelites, is going to give them the land and take their land from them, and they're all going to die. Is that the same thing the Israelites believe? Why not? Why do all the pagan Amorites, Jebusites, Perizzites, Hittites, Hivites, and all the otherites, why do they believe But the Israelites were like, well, I don't know. Not sure. It's hard to tell. The Lord your God is giving you this land, and we're all scared to death because we know what's going to happen. Can you imagine what the scouts are hearing and what they're thinking as they hear this pagan Amorite prostitute express a faith that they themselves don't even possess? You know, there are two people in the New Testament that amaze Jesus with their faith. And if you don't believe you can amaze God with your faith, we can't be friends, okay? Two people. You know who they were? The centurion and the Syrophoenician woman. Hint, it wasn't any of the Jewish people. That's sad. Throw us in the mix. How often do we, church folk, good church folk, week in, week out, how often do we amaze our God? How often are the people outside of these church walls amazing God with their faith, but yet we, not so much? Just imagine the prostitute telling these scouts, these hand-selected, cream of the crop, best two in the bunch scouts, I know the Lord has given you this land, that the terror has fallen on us, and everyone who lives in the land is panicking because of you. For we have heard how the Lord dried up the waters of the Red Sea before you when you came out of Egypt. There should be something in your brain that goes, 40 years ago. There you go, Nancy. Nancy's with me, all right? How old is Rahab? Did she hear about it? Did she read it in the paper? Did she see a YouTube video? All right? Was it on TikTok? All right? That would be cool, though, wouldn't it? Ooh. All right? How did she hear about it? Was she alive? No, because she's going to have kids who she wasn't alive. Guarantee you. All right? Somebody told her. Maybe even somebody told her who told her who told her. You see, they pass their stories along. If you go to Judges, don't go there. In Judges 2, everything starts to fall apart after Joshua and his generation pass away. You know the rationale? You know what it says in Judges? Why it starts to fall apart and all the ites start to overtake them in this Judges cycle? Because the children of Israel did not know what the Lord had done for them. And why is that, parents? Did the kids not read it in their history class? Parents, why did the children of Israel not know what the Lord had done for them? And therefore they fell away. When the prostitute in the pagan Amorite city knew full well. You see why she feared? She knew who God was. You get to Judges 2, they're a train wreck because they don't know. Because when God told them, speak of the Lord all the time, when you rise up and when you lie down, when you go out and when you come in, when you eat, when you do all this, teach the children. And you know what they did? Not. I guess they thought the youth minister would take care of it, right? Children's minister, pastor guy, something along those way. Rex, right? That's what their job is. That's why they get paid all those big bucks, right? No, parents. You instill the fear of God in your children, and we equip you to do that. We don't do that instead of you. We're here to equip you in doing those things. Dried up the Red Sea. She wasn't even born. And I love this. And what you did to Sihon and Og. Some of you going, oh, yeah, what they did to Sihon and Og. All right, that time you kind of nod like you know what you're talking about, and you're going, who's Sihon and Og? All right? Okay, Sihon and Og. See the Reuben and see Gad up here? Those were their kingdoms. And they were widely regarded as unbeatable. No one beat Sihon and Og. All right? That's why Rahab's going, you guys beat Sihon and Og. It's like, yeah, we beat Georgia and Alabama in back-to-back weekends. It's no big deal, all right? Rahab is amazed. They don't even know to be amazed. They don't even understand what God is doing in their lives. That's why they're out there scouting the land, hiding in some flax. When God Almighty told them, I'm giving you this land. She understood. These two Amorite kings you completely destroyed across Jordan. 11. When we heard this, when we heard that you beat them, we completely lost heart. And everyone's courage failed because of you. Again, I'm hearing this through the ears of the scouts. And what are they thinking? Wow, our God's really amazing. Maybe for the first time, they're going, wow, I didn't know that about our God. Did you know about the whole Red Sea thing? Yeah, I kind of heard about it at one point, sort of, No, but she has. And she fears our God. And her fear of our God dictates her behavior. It energizes. You with me on this word? Puts working inside of her. It's not a nice little thing that you think about. Our faith should not make us really think kind things about loving other people. What a useless faith that is. Our faith should energize, working in us so that we do actually love people, not just sit there and think about what we should do. Her faith, fear, energized her. Sometimes I wish I lived up to Rahab's standards. Because if an Amorite prostitute in one of the worst cities ever could fear God and be moved to action, I think I should too. And my lack of action reveals my lack of fear of my God. The Hebrew word Yahweh, it's a powerful, amazing word. Somebody asked me one time, should we really be afraid of God? I said, yep. Yep. I got no problem with that word. Because it's sure better than the alternative, isn't it? Hello, United States of America. Hello, mainline denominations in United States of America. Fear of God? Nah, we'll just make up our own rules. The Bible, it's a good little guide for us. No, it's the guide. And anything else is, you're in trouble. Again, 11. When we heard this, we lost heart. Everyone's courage failed because of you. 4. Anytime you see the word for in there, it's always answering the question, why? Why? Why did everyone's heart lose heart? Why did everyone's courage fail? Why? Because the Lord, everybody, again, all caps, yes? Yahweh, your God, is God. Your Elohim is the Elohim. There ain't no other Elohims. Your God is God, all right? Again, to which I think the scouts should be going, wow, I wish we had faith like that, all right? The Lord, your God, is God in heaven above and on earth below. Now, please swear to me by the Lord that you will also show kindness to my family because I showed kindness to you. This is the word hesed. We've talked about this word a lot. This love that you don't deserve, that you could never, ever, possibly ever earn on your own, but yet it's been given to you anyway. She said, I'm showing kindness to you. You show the same response to me. Give me a sure sign that you will spare the lives of my father, mother, brothers, sisters, and all who belong to them and save us from death. She's making a deal. I like this girl, all right? She's like, I'm going to hide you guys, but I want something out of this, all right? I know who your God is, and I want to attach myself to you, okay? Her daughter-in-law is going to pick up on the same idea. You may have heard of her. Her name is Ruth. Ruth goes, I'm with Naomi. I ain't going back home. Orpah can go home if she wants to. I'm attaching myself to you because your God is the God in heaven above and on earth below. So show me this kindness. Then the man answered her, we will give our lives for yours. Trade, all right? You keep us from dying, we'll protect your life. If you don't report our mission, we will show kindness, hesed, and faithfulness to you when the Lord gives us the land. I think they're starting to actually believe that God may just give them the land, all right? Then she let them down by a rope through the window, since she lived in a house that was built into the wall of the city. Now, if you remember the song pretty well, what happens to the walls of Jericho? So the house built into the wall that came tumbling down, that might be problematic, all right? Brendan, you build houses, all right? Yeah, if the whole house falls down, it's a problem, all right? It's not a good thing, all right? Go to the hill country so that the men pursuing you won't find you, she said to them. Hide yourself there for 3 days until they return. Afterward, go on your way. And the men said to her, we will be free from this oath you made us swear, unless when we enter the land, here's the plan, here's the sign. You tie this scarlet cord to the window through which you let us down. Bring your father, mother, brothers. Interesting, he skipped sisters on this one. I don't know if it was like I don't know about your sisters. They're kind of crazy, all right? And all your father's family, where? In? Thank you. That's the key word, right? Into your home. Now, does any of that sound vaguely familiar? Take a scarlet cord, tie it to the window, bring everybody into the house. Don't leave the house. And when all breaks loose, you will be saved. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Do you see the bookends that God puts on this? Let me illustrate this for you one more time in case you didn't get the whole paint the door, distinguishing mark over the door. Stay in the house. Literally the same wording. Stay in the house, you're all good. But you have to get into the house. You can't sit outside the house going, I really believe that blood over there is going to protect that house. But isn't that what we do? We've talked about this a lot. I call it shark cage Christianity. You can sit on the dock thinking, yep, I believe that shark cage will keep you safe. And I'm so sure of it, I'm going to sit here on the dock and not get in that shark cage. But I believe in it. Oh, no, my friends. It's not enough to believe in something. You got to believe into it. See, these 5 people were daring enough to believe into the hot seats. All right? Brennan's right on the edge. He wanted to sit there, but Lauren said, no. All right? I don't want to get dragged over into that. All right? Pamela wasn't daring enough. I thought Pamela would be all over this for me. You were close, but you're still in the dock. But what's the lesson? And I love this because when John writes, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believe into will not perish. Not just believe in. So imagine how this plays out. Let me finish reading. 19. If anyone goes out the doors of your house, his blood will be on his own head, and we will be innocent. But if you is in the house should be harmed, his blood will be on our heads. Which is a really big promise that 2 scouts are making on behalf of God when the walls are going to come tumbling down, and her apartment's in the wall, okay? That's a big promise from a scout. That's got to take a little faith, doesn't it? I'm speaking for God now. We'll take care of this. Just tie that cord. I'm sure God will take care of this, okay? But does she trust him? Yeah, because it says as soon as she let him down, she ties the cord. She believes these guys. Would you? Tie a cord around your window. You'll be good. Probably. Okay. She's all in. Literally all into. Right? And if you report a mission, we are free from the oath you made us swear. Let it be as you say, she replied, and she sent them away. After they'd gone, she tied the scarlet cord to the window. Now, put yourself in the shoes of brother, sister, mom, dad, who never heard this arrangement. But they get it from Rahab. Rahab goes, come inside the house. Come into the house with me. I tied a string around the window frame, and we'll be safe. Your prostitute Amorite daughter just made a deal with 2 Israeli spies that if she ties a string around the window, you'll be good if you stay in the house. March around, march around, march around. 7th day, all the chaos, all the screaming, all the horns, all this stuff, and all of a sudden the walls start tumbling down. Dad, what you doing? I ain't going outside the house because that string right there, we're all good, right? Who in their right mind is going, that string's going to protect us? Who in their right mind would do that? I know her brothers didn't, all right? I know her brother's like, that's it, I'm out of here. I got to go fight. I got to do something. I can't just sit in here. But then all the walls tumble down. And somehow, some way, this little apartment, evidently with about 85 people crammed into it, is still standing. Now, how many of you would love to go in a shark cage and go down there and like feed the sharks and pet one and do all this stuff? When you come up and you're still alive, Richard, you with me? Would you be? No? All right. I thought you would be with me on this one. All right. When you come back up, any adrenaline? Any hair on fire? Whew, that was awesome. And how many people in the dock are sitting there going, wow, that was awesome. What an amazing, Richard be like, yeah, I'm happy for you. I'm glad you enjoyed that because I'm over here. I challenge you with this as Shark Cage Christianity to get into the fight. Get into something more than showing up in this building once a week. Do something outside of your comfort zone. Do something for the glory of the one who died on that cross in your place. That's what it means to step into it. I was talking this morning at Cooper Tire, and somebody said, give me some, what do I need to do? And I was like, man, I don't know what it means for you. I know what it means for me, because I know this. I know when I do it, and I complete it, and I'm still alive, the adrenaline, the excitement, the passion, the romance. I know when I've stepped into Christianity. And I know the boredom and the pride and the moral superiority when I stand on the dock and just believe in it. And I don't want to just stand in my belief. I want to jump into it. I want to come up out of the water in the midst of all of this and be like, that was amazing. That was the most amazing thing I've ever done. God saved me. God protected me. God provided for me in all these beautiful ways. I really want to pray, God, give me this day my daily bread. So I'm going to give all my food away so that I go, all right, God, daily bread, you got to bring it on because you're going to be the one that provides this for me. And he provides it in all these amazing ways. And we go, that was awesome. Let's do it again. I want to go down to Church Under the Bridge. I want to be there to help in whatever way I can. I want to have this difficult conversation with people at work. I want to have the difficult conversations with people who may not agree with me, who may look at me kind of funny, because I know this, God's going to protect me in that. And I know this, when I avoid all the trouble and the persecution and all that and stand on the dock going, yeah, I believe in Jesus. I'll be over here in my little cushy building if you need me. Most Sundays. you're not living the life that Jesus was describing to Nicodemus in John 3. There is a whole nother level of our faith energizing our works. And believing in this stuff, man, you're just a boring, nice person. And God has created you to do beautiful works, Ephesians 2:10. So get to work. So the two men went into the hill country and stayed there for 3 days. I'm in verse 22. Until the pursuers had returned. They searched all along the way but did not find them. Then the men returned, came down from the hill country and crossed the Jordan. They went to Joshua, son of Nun, and reported everything that had happened to them. To which Joshua is thinking, what? I didn't expect all that. And you told him what? About the what? The cord? That was interesting. All right, let's see how that works out. Then they told Joshua, and I love this confession, because they didn't walk into the land with this conviction. They came out of the land, away from the pagan Amorite prostitute's faith with this conviction. Y'all with me? They didn't go to a Bible study. They sat in front of a pagan Amorite prostitute whose faith taught them a lesson. The Lord, our Lord, Yahweh, has indeed handed over the entire land to us, and everyone who lives in the land is also panicking because of us. You can sit in this room all day long, and I can teach you all day long, and I love doing it. But here's what I know. Your faith is going to be completed when you don't just sit here and listen to me, but when you step into the life God has created you to live. You are God's workmanship, created for good, beautiful, kalos, amazing works. That's when your faith gets bolstered. That's when you start to take bigger steps. That's when you start to bear the name of Christ in amazing, beautiful, romantic, adventurous ways. And you stop just walking into this building once a week and being nice. And that's what God has called us to do. And that's what God has called us to be. And our community is never going to change if we don't step into this to the degree to which we know I'm stepping into something. I can tell I'm not in my comfort zone anymore. I'm stepping into something. And we see God move and we see God work. And that's what we're praying for. All right? So let's pray. Father, thank you for, the opportunity to come and study your word. I thank you for the amazing faith of Rahab. How she saw such clear evidence of your glory. Father, I pray that we would see that. We would take off the theology eyes and the church eyes and just see you and all your goodness and your glory and your romance. Father, give us the courage to step into something more than we can handle, more than we can succeed at on our own, more than we can accomplish. But Father, let us know, may we know beyond a shadow of a doubt, I stepped into Christianity today. And I saw God move, and I saw God work. Give us that kind of courage, Father.